Truth time. I sometimes get annoyed by all of these messages that seem to be going around on social media about how you're just supposed to love yourself. Just love yourself. Just say your mantras and take yourself to the spa and love yourself. But what does that actually even mean? How do you love yourself? Is it just something that you wake up one day and say, I'm gonna love myself? And if you've tried it and it hasn't worked, I'm here to tell you that it's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because it's not that easy and it's not the way that it works. And so today I'm going to talk to you about what it really takes to love, or maybe even if you're not there yet and you just want to be liking yourself more, I'm going to be talking to you about how to like yourself more and intentional and specific things that you can start doing right away to build that relationship with yourself, to build that sense of self-love and self-acceptance and even just liking yourself. It's not something that's just supposed to happen overnight. Like any relationship, it takes time, it takes intention, and it takes effort. So I'm going to tell you these ones. Stay tuned. I think you're going to get a lot from this one, and it's going to make you a lot less frustrated with this whole self-love revolution stuff. If you're new to me and this is the first time you're here, I am so glad you are here. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so that we can stay connected, and maybe do it now so that you don't forget. If you're not new to me, I'm so glad you're back, and I always love having you here, so thanks for being here. My name is Kristina, and I am a master mindset coach, a therapist, a researcher, and the creator of the Breakthrough Coaching Program. I have a master's degree in counseling psychology, and I work to help heart-centered go-getter men and women break through worry, anxiety, and self-doubt so that they can get out of their heads, get into their lives, and love their lives, and dare I say, even themselves more. And so what are these things? How do we just love ourselves? Sorry if I sound a little bit calloused. I'm just annoyed with all of these messages as if it's just that simple, and how it can make us feel like we're broken or flawed or weird because we can't just love ourselves like that. So what do we do? And I'm going to talk to you about several things that add to that build that we can do to start creating that relationship, that healthy relationship with ourselves. And so the first one is, this is a really simple one. How do you talk to and about yourself? Do you put yourself down? Do you talk about all of your flaws and all of your weaknesses? Are you really hard on yourself? It's really hard to have a good relationship with someone who is always talking down to them. And so being aware of that one and being intentional about that one, catching that one, really just learning how to catch yourself, and even working on turning that self-talk around, allowing yourself to connect with your strengths, to connect with the things that are going well, that you're doing well, the things that are good about you, instead of just always focusing on the areas that you fall short. Because yeah, we both have all of them. We all have both of them. Did I say that right? We all have both of them. We all have areas that we can improve, and we all have things that we are doing well, and strengths and gifts and talents and abilities that are going great. So how do you talk to and about yourself? Are you really hard on yourself? Could you stand to be a little bit kinder? And so working on changing, shifting one moment at a time, how you talk to and about yourself, how you talk about yourself to other people, what you describe yourself. Are you always putting yourself down? Are you always talking about your shortcomings? How you talk to yourself. Are you always pointing all your flaws out to yourself? Or are you allowing yourself to connect with and talk about the things that you're proud of, that you feel good about? Your strengths, your gifts. It's the first one. The next one is, how kind are you towards yourself? Do you take care of yourself? And I know the whole self-care thing is another big thing, and that is super important. That's part of it. But do you take care of yourself? Are you taking care of your health? Are you sleeping properly? Are you moving your body on a regular basis? Are you honoring yourself? Are you giving yourself time to sit and do nothing and to relax and to just take some time off? Or are you hustling and running around and totally wearing yourself out and overwhelming yourself and neglecting your health? Are you doing all of those things? It's really hard to like someone, to feel good about someone when they are not being nice to us, when they are not looking out for us. And so, are you taking care of yourself? Are you being good to yourself? And just those little things, being intentional about taking care of yourself and being kind towards yourself, those little things add up. Like any relationship, they add up and they count and they make a difference. It's really hard to like people who are really unkind to us. The next one, how much do you listen to and respect yourself? How much do you really pay attention to the things that are important to you, and how often are you just sort of like pushing them aside, pushing your needs aside, not respecting yourself, not listening to yourself, not paying attention to yourself, not valuing your wants, needs, thoughts, ideas, perspectives, preferences? Are you listening to yourself? Are you speaking up when you need to speak up? Are you saying what you need to say? Are you listening to the things that are important to you, and are you intentional about creating those in your life and making those things happen, or speaking up for those things, or asking for those things in your life? Are you listening to and respecting yourself? And again, it's really hard to be in a relationship with someone who's always shutting us down, who's always sort of just like, oh, you don't matter. Like what you need and what's important to you, it doesn't really matter. Like it's really hard to have a good relationship with someone who's always doing that. And so many of us are doing it to ourselves. And so being intentional about listening to the whispers, and sometimes even listening to the full on like shouting, like pay attention to me, and letting ourselves listen to that. The next one, are you building trust with yourself? How do you treat yourself after you fail or fall down? And this is a huge one for building our trust and having a really good trusting relationship with ourselves. It's a lot, it has a lot to do with our relationship with ourselves, especially for those of you who are go-getters. You are going out and you are living life and you want to do things and you have goals and you have dreams, you have ambitions. And yeah, if you are going to show up, if you show up big enough, often enough in life, you are going to fall down and you are going to fail. You are going to get a mouthful of dirt and a fat lip. How do you treat yourself when you do? Do you tell yourself, I'm a failure, I'm no good, I suck, I don't have what it takes, I can't do this? Or are you like, okay, that sucked. Let's get back up. Let's learn from it. Let's try again. Do you rake yourself over the coals if you ever fail or fall down? Or are you kind, compassionate, understanding? Are you good to yourself when that happens? And that builds trust. That is huge for building trust and building our relationship with ourselves, just like anybody else. If you were to go to someone and talk about something that you had fallen short on, or that hadn't gone your way, or that you'd maybe even fully just failed at, and if that person was to look at you and be like, oh my gosh, yeah, you suck. You should just like call it in right now. Why even bother? You are terrible. Like you are, wow, like I can't even look at you right now. Would that help or hinder that relationship? So we need to be really intentional about how we're treating ourselves, how we are building that trust, because if we go to that same person and we share that stuff with them, we're like, I totally failed. I totally like crapped the bed on this one. And they're like, hey, it's okay. Like, I know that it hurts. I know that it sucks, but it doesn't mean that you are a failure. It means that things didn't go the way that you wanted them to. It means that you might have more to learn, but I still believe in you. I still love you. I still think you're an amazing person. You just had a failure. You just had something that didn't go your way. It's okay. Let's learn from this. Let's get up. Let's keep going. What would be different if you had a friend who said that to you? And can you start saying things like that to yourself? The next one is, how do you look at yourself? When you see yourself in the mirror, when you catch a glimpse, and maybe this one is a little bit more for women than for men. I don't know. Maybe there's some men where this impacts you as well. But what do you say to yourself? Are you like, ugh, oh my gosh, you just look so old, or like you need to lose some weight, or like you're gross. These things that we say to ourselves, when you catch a glimpse of yourself, or even when you're standing and looking at the mirror, are you sitting there being disgusted by yourself, by looking and pointing out and picking at all of your flaws and imperfections? What would it be like if you looked at yourself and you connected with the things that are beautiful about you, with the things that, even if they're not perfect, are still amazing? And this is such a huge one. And full vulnerability, full transparency, I used to feel really self-conscious about my body. And I used to feel like, because when I was younger, I have always had thicker thighs, and so when I was younger, I got called thunder thighs a lot. All the kids would call me thunder thighs or elephant stumps, and I got called that. And so I really believed, and even though I look back and I was like, I can't believe that I thought I was fat and I had these big fat legs, but it's this idea in my head because that's what the kids made fun of me for. That's what the kids called me. And so I grew up really believing that I had these really like fat legs. And then I saw people who did have thicker legs, who were out, in bathing suits and even posting pictures of themselves on social media and just like owning it. And they were like, I don't need to have perfect legs in order to feel comfortable and confident in who I am. I don't have to look perfect in order to feel good about myself. I can choose to feel good about myself. So whatever that is on your physical appearance that you think is holding you back from feeling good about yourself, I'm here to tell you that there is somebody out there already with the same perceived flaw that you think you have, who is out there feeling good about themselves anyways. And I actually posted about this in my Instagram and basically just said that there's somebody out there with the same excuses as you, with the same apparent quote unquote flaws as you, who is out there doing it anyways, who is out there feeling good about themselves anyways. So what are you doing? Are you making all of this stuff mean something about you, that if you're not perfect on the outside, or that these things are actually like ugly or bad when maybe they're not? Maybe they're actually, like in my case, that it's just a big kind of distorted belief or thought that you have that came from somewhere, that you picked up somewhere, and now you've just let it lodge in there and you're making it be your story about why you're not good enough and why you can't actually love and accept yourself. I'm going to call a little bit of BS on that and challenge you to catch yourself in the mirror and to look at yourself with love and to point out and specifically look for the things that you do love instead of always focusing on the things that aren't quote unquote perfect. This is a big one. This is a tough one. This one takes some work, but I want to encourage you and invite you to try doing it. The next one is acknowledging how far you've come instead of always looking ahead at how far you have to go. That sometimes we are standing there and we're like, oh my gosh, I've got so far to go. The mountain is so high to climb. And when am I ever going to get there? And we forget to look back and see, holy crap, like I have come so far, and to be able to be proud of ourselves and to recognize ourselves and give ourselves credit where credit is due. It's this human thing in our brain is that we're always looking to like get somewhere else. We think we need to get somewhere in order to be happy. And the truth is, a lot of you right now are at places that you thought if you got there, you would be happy, and you're not. And so happiness is not a destination. It's a decision. And it's allowing ourselves to recognize where we are and what we've accomplished and what we've done and what we've, how we've healed and how we've grown now. Not always looking at how far we have to go, recognizing, appreciating, and connecting with where we are, where you are. Is this something that you need to do? Let me know in the comment section below. Is this something, and maybe even I want you to say, that, yeah, like I have come a long ways. Good for me in the comment section below. Even if you just say, yup, Julia, good for me. Let yourself connect with that. Take a moment to do that. As cheesy as it might be, claiming this stuff and declaring this stuff actually makes a difference. It allows different things in our brains to connect. The next one, and this one is about being mindful and intentional about the things you let yourself think about and perseverate on and maybe even obsess about. What kinds of things are you allowing into your mind, and how far are you allowing these things to go? So sometimes, we don't always have control over the thoughts that come into our minds and the things that we think about, but we absolutely are in charge with how far we let those go, whether or not we get stuck in like a spiral and kind of think of all the reasons why we're no good or something's no good or why we're failures or whatever those thoughts are that end up leaving us feeling like a pile of crap at the end. Really being mindful of the thoughts that you allow to stick around in your mind. And This is actually something that I realized a few years ago, and I actually posted this on social media as well. It wasn't the first time I felt it, but it was the first time I really connected with it and realized it. It was a couple years ago. And for my Canadians, I was sitting at Tim Hortons. There's a Tim Hortons near my office, and I was sitting there and I was having my little lunch, and I was sitting by myself, and I had this policy of like not bringing my phone with me, not bringing any devices with me, and just sitting and giving my brain a break, just giving myself just some space, some white space in my day. And I sat there eating my little bowl of chicken noodle soup and my whole wheat bun. And I remember sitting there and really reflecting on and connecting with and noticing how much I liked what the thoughts were that were going through my head. How much I liked just being with myself. You guys, this has taken work. I never used to feel like this. That is for darn sure. I've spent a lot of my life not liking myself and feeling really crappy about myself and doubting myself and second guessing myself and all the things. But I've done my work, and being able to sit there and be like, I really like the thoughts that go through my head. I really like me. I really like my own company. And I was like, that is pretty freaking amazing. So that takes work. What thoughts are we allowing coming into our mind, and how much value are we giving them, and how much are we allowing them to stick around? How much are we indulging them? A really simple way to work on liking and loving ourselves more, if you can think of it this way, if you don't remember anything you learned from this list, this is the simplest thing that you need to know. You think about people that you like and feel good about, and that you trust, and that you have a good relationship with, that you love. Think about those people, and what are they doing that help you like them, love them, trust them, feel safe with them, feel good about being with them? What are the things that they are doing? How do they treat you? How do they talk to you? How are they when they're with you? And then start doing those things for yourself. The same things that help us build our relationships on the outside are, when we do those things for ourselves, are the things that help us build our relationship with ourselves on the inside. Which one of these connected with you? Which one are you going to start doing now? Which one are you going to start working on? I want to ask you to just start with one. Don't feel like, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming, I've got to do all of these. Start with the one that feels easiest. It's the best way that we have success, is if we start with the thing that feels the most doable and a little bit of a stretch, but not like way out there. Start with one. Let me know which one you're going to start with in the comments section below. Share the video out if you think other people need to hear this message. Let me know if you share it out so that I can thank you, because that means so much to me. And I also have my healthy reminders. I forgot about that. It's a free download that I have that I made for you guys, because they're healthy reminders that I use with myself often when my brain is kind of going a little bit wonky and I need to reconnect and realign and just like kind of get back on track with myself. And it's my 5 favorite healthy reminders. I use them often. For me, they work like wonders. And I want you to try them too. And I'm going to guess that a lot of them, at least a couple of them on that list, are going to be helpful and work for you as well. So grab that download, 5 favorite healthy reminders, in the description below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and come and join my Facebook group, goodformegroup.com, full of the most incredible men and women, heart-centered go-getter men and women. And I am going to look forward to seeing you next time. And make sure you comment in the comment section below so that we can connect. Until next time, take good care.